Want to know what's going on here? Check out this video. If you remember, we put on the Kuryakin luggage rack. We just put in the E-Glide Goodies Ultra Brace. So here's the next thing we're going to be putting in. This one I'm pretty excited about because it's something that I've been working on. Is a charging port station. It's got two USB ports, a 12-volt plug, and that is going to go mounted about right in here. So I got these little connections here, 4-pole quick connector. 2 of them I'm going to run to turn the lights on because the tour pack does have the LED lights that run along the bottom of it. And then the other 2 is going to be my ground and my hot wire to provide me some juice into the tour pack. But what's nice is that this is waterproof. So it's got a little seal right there. Those are the 4 poles that you see. So once you get that in there, you just twist that tight. So there's that. Now I did buy a box of these at Amazon. I think it was 5 sets. I'll put the link in the description if that's something that you're interested in seeing. Now the one thing that I did buy to facilitate this install is an adapter or wire harness from Custom Dynamics. Now this is the part number MPR-BCM. And this does have the little connectors that plug into this bike. But the nice thing about this is they've gone ahead and put in these little posi taps. Now I've used these before in the past, man, and they're awesome. And the way they work is, so you see that little metal? You put that in there, and then when you spin that there, it makes a connection with the wire. Just as easy as that. And when you put in your wire, whatever you want power going to, you pull off this little cap. You put the wire through that hole right there, slide it in, it goes in, makes contact with that piece of metal, which is the other piece of metal on the other side, and then you tighten them up. And that's it. Now the beauty behind this is you're not having to cut into any wires, you're not having to splice into anything in your bike. You simply unplug these connectors, slide this one in, plug the other one back in, plug the other one back in. Now you have access to whatever. Now this is good for your ground, which is your black. Your blue is your running wire. The red is your brake. The brown one is your right turn brake. The purple one is your left turn brake. And then your orange, which doesn't have a connector on it, but that is your auxiliary power. And I'll put a link in the description as well. I did buy this one on Amazon, but you can pick them up on Custom Dynamics website. They cost the same. The next thing that's also going to be going in is a little organizer that I made. And I actually have a Instagram page and a Facebook page called Setting Sun Leatherworks. But what I wanted to do was make myself something to hold the charger to my GoPros, as well as 2 batteries in here to my drone. If you're interested in one of these, let me know and I can price you out one and get it made for you. This is designed for the Harley-Davidson tour packs. The way it mounts is 2 holes here. You remove the 2 screws from the actual latch and then you replace them with a little bit longer screw. But the way it works is you take your charger and you slide it right in there just like that. Okay, and it gives you access to the USB-C. I can go ahead and charge 2 batteries, and then I have a GoPro Max 360, same size, just a little bit taller, but it fits in there just fine. Same thing, gives you access. This is a little sleeve where you can put in your cables, so once you plug it in, you can slide them in here, and that way they're not all over the place getting in your way. And then obviously this is in the battery, but 2 Mavic Air 2 batteries fit in here, and then the charger that goes on that is just plugs in on the top. Those are the things that I'm going to be installing into the budget tour pack build. And if you happen to have any questions on this, please let me know in the comments below. I will try to answer them all as best as possible. I think for a lot of us that are content creators on YouTube and ride motorcycles, this is probably a good modification to add, to any of your bikes. So let's go ahead and just get started on the install, and then I'll show you exactly where that plug goes connected to, okay? Just so you know, my bike might be set up a little bit different than yours, particularly if you do not have any other harness installed onto your bike. Now my bike, it does have a Kuryakin trailer harness, okay, to give me power, because I do have a trailer. You might have seen it in a couple of videos here and there. It's a little trailer that I pull my dogs in occasionally. This part is what disconnects here, and this is here. So this part right here is to the trailer, all right? But normally, if you didn't have that, then this adapter right here, and it's the black one, it's not the gray one. But if you don't have anything, you just disconnect these two. So it'd be something, my hand's in the way, it'd be something like this, okay? And then you would plug this in over here, and then this one over here, just like that. Difference here with me is I do have this harness. I actually have to keep this one plugged in like that. We'll plug this one in, and then we plug that in. But before we move on, I'm going to turn the bike on, and we're going to test it out and make sure that all my lights on my trailer are still working. Guys, let me know if those light up. If they light up, right turn signal works, left turn signal works, and then let's see if our hazards work. Yeah, buddy. So that's the part that mattered, right? So now that I got that adapter in there, and I know that everything works, we're good to go to now installing the other stuff. So let's get on it. Now this is the little charging station that I bought on Amazon. I think it was like $15. It really didn't cost that much. That might be a pretty good spot. Well, let's check it out. We'll measure and then we'll go from there. So first things first, we got to see if this is going to be in the way of that. Okay. And by the looks of it, it's close. And it's probably too close. We are going to go ahead and install it on this side. I mean, actually, this is a good spot. Let me show you really quick what I've done. Just to really mount this little charging port here, I drilled the two holes, you see that, and got my bolts on the other side, nuts over here. I went ahead and just cut the bolt down to where it's flush with this right here, so that way it's not sticking out too much, and filed it down so it doesn't cut at all. Alright, so that's nice and mounted in there. A couple of things that we got to connect. These wires right here are the LED lights on the bottom of the tour pack. The idea is we're going to run two of those cables, and here's the thing is, this has got a green, red, a blue, and a yellow. We're going to have to just designate what colors we want to use for what. We've got to figure out where we want to put this. Let's go ahead and figure all that out, and then we'll come back and talk a little more. Okay, so I went ahead and drilled a hole into the tour pack. Make this a little easier on you so you don't have to worry about this thing falling out from the bottom. And actually not a bad idea to just leave a zip tie right where you want it, and then you make it really tight. That way it doesn't slip out. So far, so good. So what we got to do is connect these two cables to these two cables. Before we commit to a little more, I'm going to temporarily hook it up and we'll see how everything works. And we should get light right here, okay? Excellent. Very nice. Now that we know that works, we can move on to the power portion of this connections. Alright, so what I'm going to do really quick is I went ahead and decided to run wires with a little bit heavier gauge, but also go ahead and pick up a blue too. That way everything looks nice and uniform, and a little bit different connectors as well. So let me just take this apart really quick, redo this, and then we'll move on to the other part. Alright? Twist this cable up really quick. Alright, so let me show you what I got going on real quick. I went ahead and redid the wires. It's all 18 gauge wire. Connected over here, put my piece of tape back on, labeling it, and then we'll work on the connection over here. So check it out. So then this is going to come out right here. There's my ends. We still got to connect those there. Come over here and then connect them right here, and that's pretty much it. So once we get that plugged in, we'll move on to the power port. All right, let's do that. Alright, so what we've done so far is just kind of get the cables for the lighting. We went ahead and finished wiring that. Here we are so far. We got some of this little sleeve that goes over it. Went ahead and sleeved it right there. Then also have this braided sleeve, and it's already tapped in, so that one's done. It is always a good idea to run directly to the battery, or to run directly, you know, your negative anywhere you want. But as far as the power, run it to the battery, okay? This way you get straight juice and you're not using any of the electronics of the bike. Let's finish up in here and then we'll move on. Let me show you what I did here. Positive, negative. Went ahead and spliced those wires together. Tucked that in. Spun the cable. We're going to, we've got to cut a little bitty hole in the lining to fish this back there. And then we wire that together. Bolt this in. Put the lining back in. And then we're done. But before we do that, we're going to test this out. So we're going to wire everything first over there. And then once we get power, then we know we're good. Then we can go back and install everything, okay? We got power and it's charging. Now I see a little problem here. This little LED light, that's going to drain the battery. We could put a switch, or we actually hook it up to the auxiliary so that this thing is only charging when the bike is on. Alright, well, let's figure it out. Went ahead and added a little switch in there to my hot. LEDs are off. Bam! The LEDs are on. So that way I can leave that in there plugged in, that pushed that way. Always got to make sure that it's off though, because you don't want to show up to a dead battery. But now we have that option. We're going to go ahead and put this on. That's the last piece. Hopefully it goes quickly. Make sure we get it in the thread. Alright, so we got that installed. I'm going to show you how it works. Little charger right there. Let's plug it in. Here. Put it in the USB. Turn it on. I can see the little blue LED on. We're charging. Check it out. How about that? So one more pocket here for the other GoPro charger for the Max, and then my 2 drone batteries right there. I got 2 USB plugs so we can charge both of them simultaneously, and then here's just a 12-volt adapter. As a recap, we put in the red, or we went ahead and wired power to these red LEDs on the bottom of the tour pack. Did all the wiring inside. You saw everything I did in there. Put this on right there. Put this in. Now I can hold my batteries in it. Check out the wiring. So here is this little cable that comes out right here. Runs all along right there. Splits into 2. One side is for LED lights. The other side is for the power little station that we got. Put 2 little 3M clips there to hold that wire in place, so when I'm done here I can just loosen it up and then tuck it in underneath the seat. Ran the wire loom. Used that adapter from Custom Dynamics, but the one that has the power, I ran that directly into the battery. So ground off the Custom Dynamics, but as far as the hot goes, I ran directly to the battery. Okay, that is a complete project right there. The next thing we're going to be working on is probably a set of pipes, some exhaust, particularly the ones from Super Trap. But until next time, deuces.